Hi everyone, how are you? I am Barbara Galvin. I'm a registered dietitian at the Shoprite of Parsippany and the Shoprite of West Colwell. So today we're going to talk a little bit about protein. And protein is always popular because here in America, when we think protein, we always think of meat, steak, things like that on the grill. So in America, though, we tend to focus a lot on meat-based protein, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there are so many protein options out there that we want to talk a little bit about that. So protein is really important. Every single one of our cells in our body is made up of protein and requires protein. So we need protein to grow, especially our muscles, of course, our organs, our skin. It even helps with hormone development. So protein is very, very important for us. And there are 20 different types of amino acids, and those are the building blocks of proteins. Some of those amino acids our body naturally makes, and some of those amino acids we have to get from food sources. Those are called essential amino acids. So we want a nice balanced diet of protein, so we make sure that we're really getting all those amino acids and we're growing properly, developing properly, and also just have healthy skin, that we heal really well. Whether we're working out at the gym and kind of stressing our muscles in a really good, deliberate way, we want them to build up and heal properly. Or if we ever get an injury or a wound, we need protein, and actually a decent amount of it, in order to regenerate those cells and heal from those wounds. But again, we want to do it in a healthy way. So most of us always want to know, how much protein do I need? So if you're eating a balanced American diet, again, since we kind of focus a lot on meat in America, you're probably getting plenty of protein that you need for the day. There is a calculation, and I'll just say it quickly. So you take your weight and you multiply it by 0.4, and that'll give you how many grams of protein you need for the day. So for example, if you're 150 pounds and you multiply that by 0.4, it's 60 grams of protein. And again, that's very simple, and it's really for a healthy individual that does not have any additional needs. But just kind of giving you a ballpark. I think if you kept track of what your protein intake is, most of us will see that we're definitely meeting that and probably exceeding that. And having extra protein in your day is fine. We just want to make sure it's the type of protein that is nourishing us and isn't taking along with it excess calories and saturated fat that might work against us a little bit. So when we talk about portions of protein throughout the day, we really say that we only need about 3 servings of protein a day, again, for the average healthy person. So what is a serving? A serving is 3 ounces of lean meat. It's about 5 ounces of fish. It could be 1 or 2 eggs, depending on the size. This looks like it's a large. So if we had a jumbo, it would be 1 egg. This is about maybe 6 grams of protein. A jumbo is about 8 grams of protein. It could be a Greek yogurt, which is a fantastic food that contains a lot of protein. It's an ounce of cheese. It's about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, or it is a half of a cup of beans. So lots and lots of options that we have for the day. So when we're talking about lean protein, that's really what we want if we're getting it from an animal source. And here's why. These are beautiful pork chops. 1 pork chop is a serving, and there's not much fat here, because when it comes to animal protein, the fat is saturated fat, and that's the fat that really is not great for our heart. So we want to have as little saturated fat as possible. The reason why a serving of fish is a little bit more is because it's low in saturated fat, if any. So that's why we can have a little more fish, a little less of the red meat that has a lot of saturated fat kind of marbleized throughout the meat. So we want to go with the leanest meats possible. So if you're having a burger and you can do maybe a 90% ground beef, that's great. Or maybe mix in a little bit of that really high lean beef with your favorite fat content of another beef. If you're looking for pork, you want to, again, look for the least amount of visible fat. If you're having poultry, you want to take the skin off of that, because again, that's really where most of the saturated fat lies. If you're looking for some non-meat sources of protein, some really great sources in plants. Beans and legumes have a really great amount of protein. A half of a cup of black beans has 7 grams of protein. Really amazing. You could sprinkle that in a burrito, on a salad, make a soup out of beans. Fabulous source. Tofu, of course, is made out of soy. Very, very high in protein, very versatile. Make a stir fry one night, and instead of meat, you can put some tofu in that. For anyone who is really looking to stay with plant-based foods, nuts, seeds, really great sources of protein. And again, that's of course where the tofu and the beans would come in if you're just looking for strictly vegetable and plant-based sources. You do have to be pretty deliberate to make sure that you're getting enough protein from the plants and the beans and the seeds and the nuts if you are only going plant-based. So just make sure that it's deliberate. Other great things, of course, milk, any type of milk, but we even have enhanced protein milk. Of course, again, nuts and seeds. Almonds are a great source of protein, and they come now in a bunch of delicious flavors, so you can mix it up. Quinoa is another one of those really unique plant-based foods. It has all of the complete amino acids that we spoke about earlier. So a serving of quinoa not only has 7 grams of protein, but it's a complete protein. So that's another fabulous food. I want to talk quickly about protein supplements. If you are having a balanced, healthy diet, rarely do we need protein supplements. A lot of times people ask, what's a good post-workout? What's a good pre-workout? What's a good during workout type of protein drink? Well, the simple answer is the easiest protein drink and the most balanced is actually milk. It has protein, it has carbohydrates, it's got a lot of vitamins in it. So 8 ounces of milk is actually a really fabulous protein drink. Maybe that's not exciting enough for you, and I understand. So, if you want to turn to some of the protein powders or even some of the protein drinks that are on the market, that is absolutely fine. But a few things that I would say as guidelines. One, we want to actually use this as a supplement, not as a meal. If you are working out in the gym for over 30 minutes and you want to have one of these drinks, that is fine. So right after you work out is actually a really good time to absorb all this protein and the carbohydrate. We also want to keep our eye on the calories, right? We don't want to drink one of these shakes and kind of undo that treadmill work that you just did. So we want to make sure that we're being smart and wise about how much that we are drinking and consuming. When it comes to protein bars, same thing. We want to keep our eye on the calories. We want to keep it in that 200 calorie range. Anything more than that, we're really kind of drifting now into a meal and not just a snack. And we also want to keep our eye on the saturated fat. Again, the same type of saturated fat that's in some meats is in some of these bars. When it's coated in chocolate or peanut butter or caramel, it's actually used in some of those coatings. So we just want to keep our eye on the label, keep our eye on the calories and the saturated fat. Usually about 20 grams of protein for these supplements or these bars is a pretty decent range. We don't usually need much more than that unless you are really on a serious lifting type of a regimen. But as I said in the beginning, protein, really, really good for us. We want to nourish those muscles. We want to keep those muscles strong, not only if we're working out, but just to support our body, support our bones, keep us agile, keep us well balanced and healthy. And also it's delicious. It's very filling. It keeps us full for a long time. And as we can see, it's extremely versatile. So if you ever have any questions about protein, please stop into Shoprite of Parsippany or West Caldwell. We're happy to answer any of your questions and maybe point you into a new direction or a new food source that you never tried before. Have a great day.